You wake up tired, not because you didn't sleep, but because you're living a life that doesn't move. There's a weight on your chest you can't explain. Not pain exactly, but pressure. A quiet voice that whispers, you could be more, but you're not. And the hardest part? You know it's true. Because deep down, you've seen your potential. You felt it in moments of clarity, in flashes of ambition, in those late nights when you promised yourself tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow came and nothing changed. Let me ask you something. How many times have you started over? How many times have you said, this is the day I take control? And how many times did that fire fade, quietly, without a fight? Here's what nobody tells you. It's not motivation that builds your life, it's discipline. And discipline is not loud. It doesn't shout. It doesn't feel exciting. It is quiet, repetitive, unseen. But it is the force that shapes destiny. Most people misunderstand this, and it's why they stay stuck.
They chase feelings. They wait to feel ready. They wait for clarity, for energy, for the perfect moment. But discipline doesn't wait. It moves even when you don't feel like it. And that is where everything changes. Because the truth is, your life right now is a reflection of what you consistently do. Not what you want, not what you dream about, not what you say you'll become, but what you do every single day. Think about that. Your habits, your routines, your daily choices, they are silently writing your future. And if that future scares you, good, because awareness is the beginning of power. But here's the deeper question. Why is discipline so hard? Why do you know what to do, but still don't do it? It's not because you're lazy. It's because your mind is designed to protect you. Your brain craves comfort. It avoids pain. It resists effort. So when you try to change, when you try to grow, it pushes back. It whispers, not today. You're tired. You deserve a break. You can start tomorrow. And slowly, those whispers become your reality. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and one day you look back and realize you never moved. But what if I told you, discipline is not about fighting yourself, it's about understanding yourself. Because the most powerful people in the world, they don't rely on motivation, they build systems, they eliminate decision-making. They eliminate excuses. They create environments where discipline becomes automatic. Let me give you an image. Imagine two versions of you. One wakes up and asks, do I feel like doing this today? The other wakes up and says, this is who I am. The first one negotiates. The second one executes. That is the difference between wishing and becoming. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. You don't rise to your goals.
You fall to your standards. So if your standards are low, your life will reflect that. But if your standards are unbreakable, your life has no choice but to change. Now let me ask you something. Who are you when no one is watching? Not when you're inspired, not when people are around, not when everything feels right, but when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's uncomfortable. Who are you then? Because that version of you is your truth, and that truth is either building your future or destroying it. Most people think discipline is punishment. They think it's restriction, pain, sacrifice. But discipline is freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from wasted time, freedom from the life you fear becoming. Because every time you choose discipline, you're not losing something, you're gaining control. And control is power. But here's the shift most people never make. They try to change everything at once. They overwhelm themselves, burn out, and quit. But real discipline is built in small, consistent actions. It's waking up when you said you would. It's doing the work when you don't feel like it. It's keeping promises to yourself. And those small wins, they compound, they build confidence, they create momentum, they transform identity. Because at the core of discipline is identity. You don't act disciplined, you become disciplined. And once that shift happens, everything changes. Let me explain. When you see yourself as someone who tries, you'll always struggle. But when you see yourself as someone who does, there is no debate, there is no hesitation, there is only action. And action creates results. Results create belief, and belief creates a new reality. But there's something even deeper. Discipline is not just about success, it's about self-respect. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken your trust. And without trust, you cannot lead your own life. But every time you follow through, even when it's hard, you build something powerful. You build integrity. And integrity is the foundation of greatness. Now let me challenge you. What if your problem is not lack of time, but lack of discipline? What if your distractions are not accidents, but choices? What if the life you want is already available to you, but you're not willing to become the person who can live it? That's the real question, because discipline is not about doing more. It's about becoming more. And becoming more requires letting go. Letting go of comfort. Letting go of excuses. Letting go of the version of you that keeps you stuck. This is where most people stop, because growth is uncomfortable. It forces you to face yourself, your habits, your patterns, your weaknesses. But here's the truth. Everything you want is on the other side of that discomfort. So the question is not, can you do it? The question is, are you willing to? Because willingness is where transformation begins. And once you decide, everything changes. Not instantly, not magically, but inevitably. Because discipline is not a single moment, it's a daily commitment, a quiet decision made again and again and again, until one day you wake up and realize you are no longer the same person. You've changed. Not because of one big breakthrough, but because of thousands of small choices. And suddenly, the life that once felt impossible becomes your reality. That is the power of discipline. It doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. And who you are determines everything. So today, right now, make a decision. Not a loud one, not a dramatic one, a quiet one, a real one. Decide that you will no longer negotiate with your potential. Decide that you will no longer betray your own goals. Decide that you will become someone you can respect. Because at the end of the day, discipline is not about perfection. You will fail. You will slip. You will have days where you fall. But falling is not the problem. Staying down is. So rise again and again and again. Because every time you rise, you become stronger.
More certain, more powerful, more you. And one day, people will look at you and call you lucky. They will say you have talent, that you have something special. But they won't see the truth. They won't see the mornings you didn't want to wake up, the days you pushed through resistance, the moments you chose discipline over comfort. But you will know. And that knowing will give you a quiet confidence, a strength that cannot be shaken. Because you didn't just wish for your life, you built it. So let me leave you with this. What are you ready to let go of? What excuses, what habits,
What patterns are you finally willing to break? Because your destiny is not waiting for the perfect moment. It is waiting for a disciplined mind. And that mind is already within you. All you have to do is choose it.